Welcome to another episode of the Breaking and Entering Podcast. Victory Monday for both of us. Commanders got a thrilling win. Ravens did the job against the Steelers too, so I'm sure we both feeling good. But Brandon, what's up, man? How we doing today?
Doing amazing, man. Victory Monday against the Steelers. It don't get much better than that.
I
How
feel
about
and that's
yourself?
definitely how I feel against them damn Eagles. But we definitely gonna get into it, shall we? This opening drive
Yep.
started.
All right. For sure. Detroit, they waived their safety, Brandon Joseph, after he was arrested for DUI. The Saints, they took practice reps in their cafeteria's freezer ahead of Monday Night Football's matchup with the Packers. It's currently under a winter weather advisory there in Green Bay. It's expected to be lifted before the game, but we'll see how it goes. Browns defensive end Myles Garrett, he tied Hall of Famer Bruce Smith for the fourth fastest player to 100 sacks. He got it in his 115th game on Sunday. Raiders tight end Brock Bowers, he's the first rookie ever um, with 100 catches in a season for a tight end. He also is only the third tight end to top 1,000 receiving yards in a season. Texans wide receiver Tank Dell, he will miss the remainder of the season after tearing his ACL. They've claimed former Raven Deontay Johnson off of waivers. Meanwhile, the Ravens claimed former Texans wide receiver and punt returner Steven Sims on waivers in response to that. And the Bears left tackle Braxton Jones, he suffered a ankle injury and he will miss the final two games there for the Chicago Bears.
Gotcha. Let's get to this first game of the show today. Ravens beating the Steelers 34-17. You mentioned a lot of things last week that kind of came into fruition. Mentioned Isaiah Likely's name. He got a touchdown. You talked about Justin Tucker. I didn't see him missing any kicks, made all of his PATs. I think there was a field goal there as well that he made too. So I think he's back on the right track for you guys. Mark Andrews, I was surprised to hear this, that was his first touchdown against the Steelers that he caught the other day against the Steelers. I was really surprised by that. I mean, I guess it's not just Lamar who previously had bad games against them, but looks like Mark Andrews didn't do anything before that game. And then Derrick Henry finally got it going, 162 yards on the ground. He had another 27 yards catching the ball too. So, I mean, overall, game was a little closer than the score kind of made it out to be. Marlon Humphreys had that pick six at the end, but to start the game out, I mean, Baltimore, you guys scored 7 in the first quarter, then both of you guys scored 10 points going into the second quarter, going to that end in the first half. And then, third quarter came out, Steelers score again, you guys score again. That fourth quarter was a deciding one. You guys scored 10 points. And like I said, Marlon Humphreys had that pick six. It was crazy sequence of plays in the fourth quarter. I think Lamar threw an interception, and then like the next couple plays later, the Steelers threw an interception. It was crazy how that sequence ended. It kind of reminded me of a game you guys had back in the day. I think it might have been against the Vikings or somebody, but it was like late in the game. We talked about it before, but very late in the game, Vikings scored, and I think y'all got the ball back on like the kickoff and returned it for a touchdown, something like that. Kind of reminded me of those vibes, but very curious to hear your thoughts about it, this game. So I'm gonna give the floor to you, man.
Yeah, man, got a few shout outs for this one. Shout out to our guy, Stephen A. Smith. He was at the game. He hung out with our governor ahead of that game. Our first black governor, by the way, Wes Moore. Had a little bit of trash talk with the fans. Nothing dirty. Big Steelers fan, so it was good to see him there. He was definitely in attendance. He went up to his suite after that. Now to the action on the field. Y'all know this game typically goes to the team that wins the turnover battle, the team that can stop the run, and those ones that can make the game-changing plays. We won the turnover battle. I think it was 5-3. We stopped the run better than Pittsburgh. Their fourth-ranked run defense, offensive line opened up holes left and right, like up the center everywhere. It was enough for anybody to get through them holes at some point. And then we had some big game-changing plays. You had the turnover. Russ was cooking. They were driving. Warren was doing his thing on the drive. Russ got loose on a big run. And then our Darius Washington, he had an interception last week. He forced a fumble on this one. Kyle Van Noy picked it up. We got the ball back. Third quarter, Boswell, he kicked it out of bounds on the kickoff. We get the ball at the 40-yard line. That drive led to Andrews, as you mentioned, his first touchdown against the Steelers in his career. And then in the fourth quarter, another one you mentioned, Marlon Humphrey, he stepped in front of Pruitt, the tight end, on the naked bootleg, pick six touchdown. David Ajabo was on the pressure there. It was a full defensive play there, from the pressure to the pick six to getting back to the end zone. So yeah, those type of games, those type of plays are always the difference in these type of games. I got multiple game balls. Lamar Jackson, 3 passing touchdowns. He now has a new career high in passing touchdowns, as well as he set our franchise record. And he still has 2 more games to go, of course. Derrick Henry, you mentioned it, 24 carries, 162 yards, had a couple catches as well in the past game. Zay Flowers, 5 catches for 100. Kyle Van Noy had a big game, 1.5 sacks, 3 quarterback hits. Marlon Humphrey, again, that pick six he had, it kind of reminded me of a moment that we had in 2008 in the playoffs in the wild card. I made the AFC Championship game, against the Steelers. Flacco stepped back the pass. He threw it to the right side. Troy Polamalu came out of nowhere, picked it off, ran all the way across the field into the end zone for the touchdown, man. That was a long game. Justin Tucker, another guy you mentioned. How Stella got his groove back, man. She got her groove back. Either one, however you want to say it. 51-yard field goal. He's been perfect since those big misses a couple weeks ago. It was a little windy down there, so good to see. But yeah, one last shutout. Kudos to every Raven that stepped on the field Saturday. We only had 2 penalties, man. We were leading the league in that category heading into that game. It's been a struggle this year. It's been false start. It's been personal fouls. It's been holding. It's been, you name it, all types of penalties. But to walk out of that game, a very physical game with only 2 penalties, it definitely helped get that victory there. And then the icing on the cake, man, that Derrick Henry stiff arm on Patrick Queen, man. I can't remember when in the game it was, but I got a picture on my phone. It's going to display on y'all's screen in just a moment. All that smack he was talking against Pittsburgh, and Derrick Henry put that stiff arm on him, and then he was mad after the game. He was talking about guys not doing their assignments, guys not tackling, guys not doing this and all that type of stuff. And here we got 2 games left to go, and y'all getting to that point. But Pittsburgh's run defense is no joke. They'll be back. They got the Chiefs next week, so it is a little bit of actually on Christmas night, Christmas afternoon at home. I think I'm not too sure how that'll go. If I have to lean towards the Chiefs at this point, but Pittsburgh run defense will be fine. They just came across some problems. They just handled Saquon Barkley a couple days ago, so yeah, they'll be fine. So yeah, as for my team, keep it up. Very good work. Usually I come on here and complain about a lot of stuff that we do wrong, but I don't have much to complain about. Very good game, much needed win there. To get that monkey off Lamar Jackson's back against the Steelers. Great win there. All right, everyone. Northwest Stadium was rocking Sunday afternoon, a little after 4:30, when Jaden Daniels, he tossed his 5th touchdown pass for the Commanders, put his team ahead for good. I'm going to be short and sweet to the point. It was a statement win for y'all. You mentioned the importance of winning this game with the Seahawks on your asses heading into Week 16 for that wild card spot. When you lose a turnover battle 5-2 and you still have an opportunity to win, that shows improvement as a team, in my opinion. Not every game is going to be perfect. Winning drives. There at the end, that Jamison Crowder touchdown, a guy who I didn't even know was still on the roster, honestly, for y'all. Hadn't heard his name much at all with the Commanders. So that was a very good game. Y'all starting to remind me of the Texans a little bit from last year, when they was winning all those close games, and CJ Stroud was, having those game-winning touchdowns and leading his team to victory in the last, 2 minutes of the game. We've seen this a couple times from you all, so it's starting to look good for you all. Great win. I'm going to turn it over to you. How do you feel about this one?
Before I get started with the recap of the game, let me just address some Eagles fans. I know a lot of y'all were big mad. I mean, big mad after the game, talking about, oh, y'all barely beat Kenny Pickett. Y'all needed a backup quarterback, and the rest to beat y'all. First, let me give y'all some of these. Use these to wipe those tears away. And while you're doing that, after you're doing that, just do me a favor. Hold that in. Hold that in. Woo! Now that we're back to that, let's get to this game, boy, man. I mean, what could go wrong did go wrong at first. Stephen A. was also at our game as well.
Oh wow.
Man, Brian Robinson. Oh, good Lord Almighty, boy! 2 early fumbles. The coaches lost trust in him at first. So Chris Rodriguez and Jeremy McNichols, they got some bump going on. I mean, the defense, Marshawn Lattimore. I'm glad he was there because when he went out late in the game, you could definitely see. Oh my goodness, back to the same old stuff of Benjamin St. Juice. Even though I'm going to give him some credit later, but Marshawn Lattimore at first he had some issues with AJ Brown. I mean, he had that touchdown in the beginning of the game. I think Kenny Pickett threw it to him. He had like 3 or 4 maybe pass interference. Marshawn Lattimore did on AJ Brown. I just like, oh my goodness, man. I was very frustrated watching this game to begin with. I'm not gonna lie to you, but Jaden Daniels, I think everybody can say it's safe to assume that he solidified Rookie of the Year with what he did last weekend. Yesterday. Let me just read a couple of the things he did yesterday. He became the 6th quarterback ever to throw 3 touchdown passes against the Eagles in the 4th quarter. He became only the 3rd quarterback in NFL history with 5 touchdown passes and 80 rushing yards in the game, and only the 7th rookie in history to throw 5 touchdowns in the game. I mean, this dude, man. After the Bears game, I was so in a believer, but this solidifies it even more, man. I mean, going back to the game, I mean, the Eagles got to a fast start thanks to those turnovers. We had 21-7. And then in the second quarter, they didn't score any touchdowns, thank God. We kind of kept pace. Is something I really like about Jaden. Give him a chance, he'll make it happen. He did have 2 interceptions, one of the turnovers, one of the interceptions. He overthrew, I think it was Zach Ertz, and I want to say it was Reed Blankenship who caught that interception, or it could have been another member of the Eagles defense. But if anybody remembers last week, I was talking about how I think that Eagles defense is a little overrated, specifically the secondary. I know Quinton Mitchell, Sunday he got some work. Terry McCoy gave him some of that work, boy. And that rest of that secondary, I know Darius Slade. Another thing Eagles fans are talking about, Darius Slade got out the game too. He got hurt. So did Marshawn Lattimore. So I mean, let's be honest. You guys had a 13-point lead. Eagles fans, y'all had a 13-point lead in the 4th quarter. Y'all had the number 1 defense in the league up to this point. I mean, I think it's been like 2 or 3 months since a team has scored more than 20 points, or at least 20 points to y'all. So these excuses y'all got, save them for next week for somebody who gives a damn. Because me and the rest of my Washington fans, we can give a F if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, man, this game, Jaden Daniels, man, Jamison Crowder, 2 catches, 15 yards, both of them for touchdowns. I mean, Jaden Daniels, he had 4th and 11, scrambled for a first down. I think it was a 4th and 5, might have been 3rd down, but he gave Jalen Carter a move. He stuck his foot in the ground. Gave him a little wiggle, shook the other way. Jalen tried his best to tackle him, but this wasn't good of him. He showed that explosiveness and kept the drive going. I was just like, man, and then I got to thank Devontae Smith. I do feel a little bad for him because he's one of the few Eagles players I do like. That drop was a gift for us because if you would have caught that, that's basically the game. But once they kicked that field goal, I was like, oh, we're going to win this game. I had a feeling. I just knew it. At that point, Jaden Daniels could do whatever he wants to that Eagles defense, even with Darius Slay on the field, in my opinion. And that's exactly what he did. And then on the other note, I mean, I mentioned it last week. I said we got to contain Saquon Barkley. The first half, he was gashing us. I mean, doing whatever he wanted to us. I think he had a 60-yard run. Pretty sure he's tied with Jim Brown. I can't remember the other. It might be Adrian Peterson for most 60-yard rushes in a season or something like that for a touchdown. I know Jim Brown is one of the record holders, but he was doing whatever he wanted to us in the first half. That second half, the defense as a whole kind of tightened up. And we were able to contain him just a little bit. Don't get me wrong, though. He still had, 150 yards rushing on the ground. So, I mean, the defense, even though there's still, like I say, a lot, we're going to keep people in games. They did the job. I mentioned Benjamin St. Juice earlier. When Marshawn Lattimore came in and left the game, I think he had can't remember, was it a hand injury or something? Either way, I know he left the game due to injury. And then St. Juice came in the game. At first, I didn't know Lattimore was hurt. So I'm looking at the screen like, why the hell is St. Juice in the damn game? What's going on here? I think he got. I can't remember if he got a penalty, but I know he missed a tackle on AJ Brown. That was a huge third down conversion. I was like, oh, God, here we go again. But he kind of made up for it. It was another. I think it was a second down, and AJ Brown caught a slant over the middle, and Benjamin St. Juste thankfully tackled him. I think it was like a shoestring type tackle. Grabbed his foot, got him on the ground. Because if he missed that tackle too, AJ Brown would have gotten the end zone for a touchdown. I mean, no one was near him. So I got to give some love to St. Juste for that, for getting the job done out there. But yeah, man, Eagles fans, I don't want to hear no excuses. Y'all defense is number one. Y'all got lit up. You got 150 yards with Saquon Barkley. And then you talk about, a backup quarterback. If I'm not mistaken, y'all had a backup quarterback when y'all won the Super Bowl. Carson Wentz, MVP season, he gets hurt. And then my boy Nick Foles comes in there, and he wins the Super Bowl for y'all. So now all of a sudden, y'all beat a backup quarterback. Okay. Yeah, y'all can have that, though. But, yeah, man, this game, just another mark on a legendary rookie season for Jaden Daniels, man. We got the Falcons next week. I'm kind of glad that this flexed into Sunday Night Football. Michael Penix versus Jaden Daniels is going to be a really good matchup. Going to have a lot of promo for that. I'm sure. But yeah, man, this great win for the Commanders. Hopefully Marshawn Lattimore is healthy next week because we definitely need him. I can see the effect when he's off the field and when we have to put St. Juste in there. I was like, please, St. Juste, just stick to special teams if you can. Let's get Marshawn Lattimore. But yeah, man, like I said, great win for the Commanders. Eagles hold that L. Once again, here's some tissues for you. Woo! That was a great win for sure. Oh my goodness. And before we get into the next game we're going to recap, this episode is brought to you by Premium, a CBD and wellness company. Check out their full line of CBD-infused products, which make great stocking stuffers for the upcoming holiday season, perfect for athletes, weekend warriors, soccer moms, and even armchair quarterbacks. They have CBD-infused honey, which is a personal favorite, as well as tinctures and mint and regular flavor. Most importantly, they are veteran and woman-owned, so come get some of this sweet temptation. Taste the premium difference. Use code B&E for 15% off your order. Their website is premium.com. That's PREHEMIUM.com. Again, that's PREHEMIUM.com. And now let's get back to our show. We had an overtime game this week as well. Cardinals beating the Panthers 36-30. This was a great affair too, man. I really like the way that Bryce Young looked out here. His numbers, you might look at his numbers and say he didn't do too much, specifically like his passing yards, only 158 yards and through the air, but he had 2 touchdowns and he's very effective on the ground too. 68 yards on the ground and one rushing touchdown. Chuba Hubbard did his thing as well, 152 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns as well. Then this is a bad loss for Arizona, man. I mean, they needed this game to win. I want to say they are eliminated from playoff contention now. I could be mistaken, but I want to say they are eliminated from playoff contention. Just thinking about this game overall, Panthers kind of got out on the Cardinals early at first. I mean, going into the second quarter, at one point it was 20-3. And then that second quarter, Arizona was able to put 17 points on the board. So it kind of made things easier or closer going into that second half. But in the end, it just wasn't enough. There was a play in overtime where I thought the Cardinals might be able to pull it out because they went for it on 4th down, and they got the conversion. And they were in their territory. I think it was like the 20-30 yard line. But that 4th down conversion led to nothing because the next couple of plays later, nothing happened. They had to punt the ball to the Panthers, and the Panthers were able to rush down the field. Chuba Hubbard, and they scored that touchdown to win the game. So good win for the Panthers. This was a game you were talking about how the Panthers been playing well, so you wouldn't be surprised how it went, and that's definitely how it went with the Panthers winning this one. But what were your thoughts on this game, Brandon?
Yeah, so just a few weeks ago, Chuba Hubbard, he fumbled in overtime against the Bucks. Tampa Bay won that one. Remember, he was on the sidelines late after that game, thinking about it, taking it all in. Tide was changed on Sunday, man. Carolina got the ball back in extra play. Arizona, their drive actually went backwards, led to a punt. First play when Carolina got the ball back, Hubbard, 28 yards, first down. Next play, another 28 yards. This time it was into the end zone for the game-winning touchdown. like you mentioned, I thought this game could be one of the better ones on Sunday. It actually, in my opinion, definitely was, especially in that first window. Got to give credit, though, to both of these teams for running the ball combined more than 400 yards on the ground. If you like running the ball, this game certainly they did in this one. But to me, the difference was the Kyler Murray interception and his offensive line didn't play their best football. I think he was taken down 3 times. He was running for his life. James Conner did get hurt. He's one of my favorite backs in the league. I don't think he returned. That played a little bit of part of it, but in my opinion, Kyler just throws too many interceptions overall. Like we talked about it a couple weeks ago, I think it was against the Rams. They came out with 2 early interceptions. If I remember correctly, it was one of their NFC West opponents, and they never recovered from that one. And I remember we was texting about that one. His turnovers are just too much for this team to overcome. But yeah, Arizona eliminated from playoff contention. The Panthers didn't necessarily need this one. It was more so a spoiler game for them. It was just more so a morale thing. I didn't pick Carolina. I should have. I started 2 in my picks league, but I said, nah, everybody else picking Arizona. I ain't want to go against it and mess around and lose, but I should have. So next time I'll stick to my gut. Good win for Carolina, much needed win. And yeah, Bryce Young is definitely improving. The stat line doesn't show it all the time, but he's definitely a lot better to me than he was before he got benched as towards now, since he's been back in the lineup. All right, everyone, player awards. That time of the show again. Offensive player of the week. I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor. Week after his fumble, I believe it was Ed's bonehead play of the week. He had barely crossed the end zone there and let the ball loose, and Indianapolis did not score again. He redeemed himself this time. The veteran running back finished with 29 carries with 218 yards and 3 touchdowns. One of them, you can kind of say one of those touchdowns, he got lucky on because Anthony Richardson, I think, got ruled down, or either they got a penalty on his rush touchdown. They called it back, and they gave the ball to Jonathan Taylor on the next play. He went in. Either way, the stats are done. They're in the history books. I'm going with Jonathan Taylor. Who do you got?
I got to give it to my main man, Jaden Daniels, man. I mean, not only was he the leading passer, 5 touchdowns, 258 yards, but he was also the leading rusher, 9 carries, 81 yards, had some big runs, 4th and 11 run, and he absolutely gashed the Eagles defense on one. I already mentioned earlier how he did Jalen Carter. Man, yeah, so I got to give it to Jaden Daniels as my offensive player of the week.
Defensive player of the week. I got 2 guys. The guys that have been wearing number 15 this year on defense have really been catching my eye. The guy out in Denver, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He had a big pick 6, I think the week before last. But in this week here, New England safety Marty Mapu, probably pronounced it wrong. He had a big interception on Josh Allen. They kept it close there, New England did. Buffalo pulled ahead at the end. And then Minnesota linebacker, number 17 overall pick in the draft. I think this was your defensive rookie of the year, if I'm not mistaken, one of ours, Dallas Turner. He too had interception as well on Geno Smith against the Seattle Seahawks. So yeah, those are my defensive players of the week. The guys that wear number 15 had big plays this week. What about you?
Yeah, man. Patriots almost screwed up my guaranteed pick of the week, the way they played against the Bills. But my defensive player of the week, I got to give it to a Ravens player. I got to give it to Marlon Humphrey. 3 total tackles, but that pick 6 definitely put the game away for you guys. Had a pass deflection as well. So Marlon Humphrey is my defensive player of the week.
All right, special teams player of the week. We're going to go to Highmark Stadium, Bills and Patriots. New England just had a big interception in the end zone. Defender got stopped inside their own 1-yard line. A few plays later, 4th and 1 for New England at their own 23. Looks like they're going to punt it, but no, it's a direct snap to the safety, Del Pettis. He goes right up the gut for a first down. It eventually led to another punt for New England, but those type of plays have low success rates. Usually you get those, if you're going to do a fake punt, usually they run it out, they run it out wide. They don't go straight up the gut, but it was, a short conversion there. When you got all your special team defenders on the other side, all jammed up there in the middle, for him to get that, I think that was good enough for me. So I'm going to go with safety Del Pettis. Not much, but it was a lot to me. Who's your special teams player of the week?
I got to give it to the kicker for the Cowboys. Unfortunately, Brandon Aubrey. He had 4 field goals made. 2 of them, I believe, are over 50 yards. One was 58 yards, and he also had 2 extra points. So Brandon Aubrey is my special teamer of the week.
Bonehead player call of the week. Thursday night football, the Chargers were up by 10, 2 minutes remaining over the Broncos. Bo Nix, he takes a snap. He scrambles around the pocket, goes out to his left, throws the ball out in the flat to his running back. The only problem is he was clearly over the line of scrimmage. Rookie mistake. Last time I checked, that's illegal in the National Football League, college football, and quite possibly even high school. Bo Nix is my bonehead. He made my bonehead play of the week. What about you?
Mine's is a little different this week. I've been complaining to you a lot this year about red zone and how they always seem to play or show the damn games that no one gives a damn about. I know they have to show teams in the red zone, but come on. I got to give it to Scott Hansen in the red zone for initially misleading NFL fans about red zone's new commercials. Anybody who watches red zone, Scott Hansen has his thing where he says, get ready for 8 hours or 7 hours or how many hours of commercial-free football. Well, Red Zone has commercials in now, and everybody was, up in ruckus about it. I even noticed a big-ass ad. I think it was on an insurance commercial or insurance ad on the screen, taking up like 35% of the screen while I'm trying to watch one of these damn games. So I was like, what the hell's going on here? And Scott Hansen had to apologize for misleading fans after he's still using commercial-free football, which is not the case anymore. So bonehead move of the week goes to Scott Hansen in Red Zone for misleading fans with the Red Zone new commercials.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, man. All right, let's get into these other games of week 16 that ended. Chargers, like you said, Brandon, beat the Broncos 34-27 on Thursday Night Football. Chiefs finished the season undefeated at home after Saturday's win 27-19 over Houston. Really felt bad for Tank Dell's injury out there. Hopefully he can recover next year. Michael Penix got his first win, his first career start over the sorry-ass Giants 34-7. I knew the Giants were going to lose, but I was hoping they would win just so the Falcons would not be on our heels. Our heels, I mean the Commanders' heels in the playoff race. Lions improved to 7-0 on the road as they beat the Bears 24-17. Bengals sweep the Browns 24-6. Colts outlast the Titans 38-30. Rams recovered a muff punt to seal their victory 19-9 against the Jets. Vikings win by 3 in Seattle 27-24. Thank you, Vikings and Sam Darnold, for beating them. Beating Seattle was a good win for you guys and definitely helped the Commanders' case trying to make it into the playoffs as well. Bills narrowly defeated the Patriots 24-21. Patriots try to screw up my guaranteed pick of the week. Raiders win their third game of 2024, 19-14 over the Jaguars. I read something that Antonio Pierce said he doesn't give a damn about draft stock. Well, I don't know if your owner feels the same way. So I'm pretty sure they would rather want to lose, but I know the players will want to win. That's a tough position to be in. And Dolphins got it done against the 49ers in South Beach, 29-17. And Cowboys used a late game fumble to win 26-24 against Tampa Bay. I think they won the last 4 out of their 5. And that's going to be a tough game to play when we got to go to Jerry World next week or the last week of the season to play the Cowboys. Hopefully we clinch a playoff spot by then, but I could definitely see we going in there the way that defense looked against Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay to upset us. So not looking forward to that game. But yeah, Brandon, which of these games caught your attention the most?
Just run the ball in week 18. You'll be fine. Trust me. Against the Cowboys. But yeah, speaking of the Cowboys, Tampa Bay, they made a shot themselves in the foot with this loss. You talk about Atlanta won that big game over the Giants. I know it was the Giants, but that means that NFC South is a little bit closer than what we thought it was going to be heading down the stretch. Colts and Titans, JT, I mentioned it, my offensive player of the week. He had a monster game. I'm still confused how Callahan isn't getting more calls for his job there in Tennessee. It just makes me wonder every week. They look worse under him than they did Mike Vrabel, in my opinion. And then Chiefs and the Texans, not that I wanted the Chiefs to win, but just because I locked them in my picks league, This was only one of two times that I'll cheer for the Chiefs this season. Was this past Saturday and this coming Wednesday. I need them to beat Pittsburgh so to help our odds to win the AFC North. So yeah, those are the games that caught my mind. I'm not even going to talk about the Giants. They piss me off every week.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. For me, definitely the Lions and the Bears. I was looking to see how the Lions would look with all the injuries they had. Definitely had a viral moment with that fake muff fumble, or however you want to say it, play with Jared Goff. Faked it like he fumbled the ball and threw the touchdown. Um, Let's see. The Bills, the Patriots game. When I saw the score, it was the Bills are down 14-0. I was like, of course. Divisional game. These clowns about to go in here and blow my guaranteed pick of the week. But Bills came back, got it done. Josh Allen, I think they said he lost feeling in his throwing hand for a minute. I think he hit like his funny bone or something. So it'll be interesting to see if he comes out unscathed from that or if that was just a little nick and he's fine. I was watching a little bit of the Falcons Giants game is too, just to see how Michael Penix looked out there. Numbers weren't the greatest, but he's definitely an improvement over Kirk Cousins, what they can do on offense. You definitely see them making, the quarterbacks mobile now. He can get out the pocket and scramble. They can do play action. They can do a lot of things that Kirk Cousins couldn't do due to that Achilles injury he just suffered. So that was definitely interesting. And then that Thursday night football game, of course, Chargers Broncos, that was a pretty good game. The Chargers got the job done there. So, yeah, those are the games I watch. Also, I mentioned last week the Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk fight that happened over the weekend. Usyk won by unanimous decision. So, he'll be in those top 10, boxers of heavyweight boxers of all time category now, just because he's undefeated and he's beating everybody and he's beating most of them soundly. So salute to Usyk out there for getting that big win.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this Week 16 NFL recap show. Please take a moment to hit the subscribe button. Follow us on X at Podcast B&E, IG at B&E Podcast. We got plenty of football for your holiday weekend. 2 games on Christmas Day. The Seahawks and Bears will follow it on Thursday Night Football. There's a triple header on Saturday. The remaining games on Sunday and Monday. Going back to Christmas as well, 5 NBA games. Thank God the Heat, my Miami Heat, are not playing in the NBA on Christmas this year. These damn clowns blew a 22-point third quarter lead, I think, against the Magic the other night. I was hot. But, yeah, to anyone traveling this week, take it easy out there, y'all. Safe travels. Hope you get to spend some time with your loved ones, your family. Until next time. Love one another.
And watch Monday Night Football, Packers Saints.